If you're a steak tartare fan, we have a recipe for you. While we're not straying far from the classic preparation, we are going to make it with a bit of a twist today. Hand-diced beef fillet, savory, salty, sweet, sour, creamy. Many different textures and flavors in one nice little package. So we're going to begin by cleaning our piece of beef fillet. We need to remove any silver skin or excess fat. While you can use other cuts of beef for steak tartare, hands down fillet is definitely the best cut. There's no marbling, internal fat, or connective tissue on the inside of the piece of beef. And while this may not be an issue if you're cooking the piece of beef, if you're serving it raw, it's better to have a lean piece of beef with little marbling. So rather than mincing up the beef, we're going to try and make some small, nice dice. Little squares, all the same size, and this actually makes a big difference in the texture. Rather than ground beef or kind of a mushy substance, we're going to get something with a little bit of a bite left. So we've made our slices, and now we're going to make some strips. Line all the strips up. And then we're going to make some dice. Also keep in mind when slicing raw beef this way, it actually helps to keep your knife blade damp. Simply keep a wet paper towel close by and wipe your blade down once in a while. It will prevent any of the protein from sticking to the blade and will ensure that you have nice clean cuts. So now we're going to transfer our beef dice into a clean bowl. As we're serving a raw dish, everything should be very clean. So now we're going to put some cling film directly on top of the beef. This will prevent any further oxidation while we're finishing the rest of our garnish. And be sure to keep this in the fridge while we're working on the rest of our dish. So the first garnish we're going to prepare are some green onions. I'm actually going to use both the white and the green part of them. So it's important they're very thinly sliced. So normally this would be prepared ahead of time as mise en place, but today I'm going to add the garnish directly to the bowl with the beef. So now we have our very thinly sliced white and green scallions. We're going to add them to the bowl. We're going to cover them and put them back in the fridge. Next we're going to make some minced or ciselé brunoise. Take a paring knife and make an incision right at the root ball. Not the whole thing, just the tip. Don't cut all the way through, make a tag, and then you can just pull the skin right off. Cut the shallot in half. Make vertical cuts like this, and then make 1 or 2 horizontal cuts, depending on the size of the shallot. Now do some fine roll cuts, and then using the side of your knife, you can just scrape them up and put them in the bowl. Next we're going to dice some cornichons. So slightly bigger or smaller doesn't matter, but they need to be the same size. Like before, make the slices, make the strips, and then finish the dice. So again, we're going to add these directly to the bowl with the beef. And now we're going to make some mushroom dice. It's going to use some champignon de Paris or white or brown mushrooms like this. These are raw mushrooms. You should wash them very well. And we're going to make some slices like this. The mushrooms should be the last garnish that you add, because after about 5 or 10 minutes they will start to turn brown, they will oxidize. So fresher the better. So just like the other dices we've made, take your slices, make some strips, and finish the dice. Add the mushrooms to the rest of our ingredients. So now we're going to add our wet ingredients. Now we're going to add some fresh mayonnaise. You may be tempted to use store-bought mayonnaise, but that will ruin the dish. Just take a couple minutes, make some fresh mayonnaise. I have another video on how to make it. You will find the link below. So we've mixed everything. Now we're going to add a bit of cognac. You can also use brandy or even whiskey. Salt, black pepper, mix well. Have a little taste. If it needs it, add a bit more salt and pepper. And once you're happy with the seasoning, we're going to start plating. So you can plate this however you wish, but a nice, neat, classic technique is to use a ring mold like this and gently spoon in the beef tartare. You use the spoon to even it out. You don't want to press too hard because all of that sauce will squirt out the bottom. So to take this tartare to the next level, we're going to add a tiny bit of caviar. But if you don't have caviar, you can just use a chicken or a quail egg yolk, and that's also an excellent option. But in this case, the caviar, in my opinion, takes this to a whole other level. The texture is wonderful, the slightly salty, savory caviar goes well with the beef. It's a very interesting combination. So I'm going to plate this with some julienne fries. We put one more mushroom slice right on the top, just for decoration. and we're ready to serve. So this is actually quite a simple dish to make. It's absolutely delicious, it's appropriate for just about any meal. You can prepare most things in advance, and it's guaranteed to impress. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see further recipes and techniques, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for the latest videos. Also, if you enjoy our content, consider supporting us on Patreon. I'll have the link for Patreon below. And as always, happy cooking!